Hi everyone! In this video, I'm going to show you how to animate SVG files with the animate tag. When I click on the start animation button, you can see that the planets start to orbit the sun. The cool thing about this is that we are using SVG files. With the animate tag, we can move objects very smoothly, and as you can see, they follow the path without any interruptions. Before I jump to the code, I want to mention that you can read more about this tag in either the developer Mozilla, so they have this website where they talk about animateMotion with all the attributes that you can set. And we also have the W3C recommendation page where they talk about how to do animation. So these two pages are going to be linked in the video description. And I'll also make sure to add the link to the GitHub repository so that you can play with the source code. Here is the SVG file that I have created using a software called Inkscape. It is important to have a software that works with SVG files because it will allow us to give each object an ID and a label that we will use in order to add the animate tag. If you don't have Inkscape, you can visit this website, inkscape.org, click on download. The latest version is 1.4.2. This is a free and open source software, and it is really amazing. It works really well with SVG files. So download it. If you have Linux, click on this one. If you have Windows, click here. And if you have macOS, click on this button. Now let's go back to Inkscape and let's see how this looks like. Here we have a combination of circles and ellipses. If you want to draw a circle, you click on the circle tool. So it's called ellipse/arc tool. I have it here, and now I can click and drag in order to draw an ellipse. And I can choose a color that I want. So this is an ellipse. If I want to draw a circle, I can hold Shift and Control, click and drag in order to draw a perfect circle. So this is what I have done in order to create the sun and the planets. Now to create these orbits, I have used, again, the same tool. For example, I have created this ellipse. I can click again on E, or basically click here on this icon, and I can change the radius. So I can click on this handle in order to change this radius, and I can click on the other one to change the other radius. And if you want to rotate the ellipse, you click on it twice, and you get these handles that allow you to change the orientation of the ellipse. You can see that here we don't have just the path, but we have the ellipse with a fill color. In order to remove the fill, click on X. You can see that the ellipse is gone, but we can give it, let's say, a stroke. And to do that, hold Shift and click on any color. I'll click on the color black. If you want to change the thickness of the stroke, make sure to click on Control Shift and F. This will open this tab that will allow us to change the stroke style. Here it is set to 1 pixel, but I can change it to 10 pixels. As you can see, the stroke looks bigger. So this is what I have done in order to create the planets, the sun, and the orbits. Great. Now, how do I give IDs to each object? In order to do that, again, hit Control Shift and L. This will open the Layers tab. If I open this, you can see that, sorry, I need to click here. We have the objects. So we have the planets, we have the sun, everything. When I click on a specific object, Inkscape will select it and it will tell me the type of that object. You can see that here, this one is called Path 2. I can also right click on it and click on Object Properties. And here they are telling me that this is an ellipse, and here are the radiuses, and here is the ID of that object. So if I want, let's say, to call this planet X, I can do that. I can also give it a label. So let's call it planet X. Now, if I go back to the Layers tab, which you can open with Control Shift L, you see that the object now is called Planet X. And this is going to help us a lot when we want to add the animation. So instead of searching for this, for example, this name, path 152, we might get lost. And in some cases where we have hundreds of objects, it becomes very hard to find the one that we are looking for. So giving them IDs is going to help a lot. Now, let me delete this one and let me select the planets. You can see that I have already gave the IDs for the planets and the orbits. This one is called planet 1, this one is planet 2, etc. This one is planet 4 and the other one is planet 4. This one is planet 3 and this one is planet 4. And all of them are inside the groups. This is not ID'd, but if you want, you can remove them. So you can hit Ctrl+Shift+G to remove that object from a group. Okay, and we do the same thing for the paths. So this one is called planet orbit 1, planet orbit 2, etc. And notice something. Planet orbit is a path. It is not an ellipse. If I click on this one, it is an ellipse. So the circle means an ellipse. And this icon means a path. If I right click on this one, click on objects properties, I can confirm this. So here it says that it is a path. This is very important because in some browsers, they don't support moving an object on an ellipse. For example, Chrome does not support this, but Firefox supports it. But all of them support moving objects through paths. So how do we convert the ellipse into a path? In Inkscape, to do that, first select the object, click on path and object to path. And as you can see, now we have turned that ellipse into a path. The icon is no longer a circle. And we can confirm this by, again, going to objects properties and confirming that that path is mentioned here instead of an ellipse. Awesome. So now we are ready. We can remove this. I will also remove this background so that I have a transparent SVG file. And now I'm ready to use this in VS Code and to show you how to basically insert the animate tag to animate this. Sadly, we cannot animate SVG files inside Inkscape, but luckily the browsers and also VS Code support that so that we can see the preview in real time. Now I will close Inkscape and I will not save this because I don't want to save the modifications that I have done. Now I am in VS Code. I have opened the project. Let's not look at the source code for now, but the first thing I want you to do is to open the extensions tab and install this extension, XML Tools. After that, open one of the SVG files. So here we have two, static and animated. If I click on the animated one, you can see that this is what I was talking about. VS Code supports showing the animation directly from the IDE. So this is the end result, but we are going to start from the static one and show you what you need to do in order to arrive at the final results where the planets are going to orbit around the sun. Okay, now we can see that we want to see the code or what is inside this SVG file. We don't want to see the preview. To do that, click on this button that will reopen this file as source text. And this is what we want to see. You can see that the text is clean. Why? Because I have used the XML Tools extension. Now I will open the same file and save it with Inkscape so that I show you how it looks originally. I have opened that file again in Inkscape. I will hit Ctrl+S. I will go back to VS Code. Let's click on this file. Again, reopen it as source text. And as you can see, this doesn't look great. This is why I have installed the XML Tools extension so that when I hit Ctrl+S, you can see it now it became clean. It formatted it very well, and it will help us look for the objects very easily. Let me go back so that I show you how to set up the XML Tools extension. After installing the extension, make sure that VS Code detects the XML language when opening the SVG file. And if I look here, the selected language is XML. If this is not the case, you can search for XML and click on it, or maybe also use auto detect. So this shows XML. And in order to confirm this, we can look inside the settings. How do we do this? You can click on Ctrl+Shift+P or F1 for short and search for settings JSON. You want to open this one. I will open the user settings, and here you want to see file associations. So we have an SVG file, but we want to associate it to XML because the language that is used inside is XML. So make sure that this is present in your settings.json file. And here you want to add this block. What does this mean? So here, for every XML file, we are going to use this extension, which is this one, .joshjohnson.xml. So this one is the creator of this extension. It's going to be the default formatter for XML files. The tab size will be 4, and when we hit save, we are going to format the file. Insert spaces and detect indentation are set to false because I want to use tabs for indentation. If I hit Ctrl A, you can see that I am using tabs. After you do this, save the settings.json file, close it, go back to the SVG file and hit Ctrl S. And this should use the XML tools to format the file. Awesome. So now we are ready to add the animateMotion tag. Awesome. So now we are ready to add the animateMotion tag. Let me copy this file and paste it. I want to rename it animated. Let's call it test because I don't want to touch the other file. Now, again, reopen it as source text. And let's start with the first planet. So let's search for planet 1. Here it is. As you can see, it is a circle. It has a fill color, a radius, and a position. So this is the position. So we have the X coordinates and Y coordinates. The same for planet 2, planet 3, and planet 4. Let's search for the planet orbits. Here they are. And as you can see, they are paths. So in a path, we have the fill, the stroke, and the path itself. It is defined here. So now, as I said, we need to add the animateMotion tag inside the circle. I will do this for planet 1, and later I will just copy paste the code inside planet 2, planet 3, and planet 4. Here is the animateMotion tag. If I save this and switch to the preview image, nothing will happen because we haven't specified the path that the circle should follow. In order to do that, we add another tag inside animateMotion. Here it is. It is called mPath, and it is used to specify the path that an object should follow during its animation. Our object in this case is the circle, and the path that should be followed is this one. Because we are working with planet 1, this is why I chose planet orbit 1. Now we are not done yet. animateMotion accepts some parameters like the duration of the animation, how many times we want to run that animation, etc. So let's start by adding these two parameters, which are, as I said, duration. We write it like this, dir, and here let's specify 60 seconds. And here repeat count is set to indefinite, which means that this animation will never stop. Now let's save this and let's see the results. Okay, so what happens? There is no planet. So the planet 1 that was here is gone. Let's fix this. If I go back to the text, to the XML code, we have a problem. When we set the animation, we need to set the position to 0, 0. Let's do that. Let's save and let's look at the preview. Again, we still don't see the planet. Okay, let's go back and let's debug again. As you can see, this planet is inside a group, and that group was transformed, which means that it was moved to another place. Let's remove this circle from that group and let's keep it outside. Let's see if this will solve the issue. Okay, and as you can see, now we have the animation. So the transform means that the planet was on another coordinate system. But by removing that, we were able to follow the path. Let's do the same thing for the other planet. Okay, so for planet 2, there is the transform, so let's remove it. And let's see, so by doing that, the planet is now here. Okay, and here the coordinates are set to 0, 0, which is what we want. Okay, great. Now let's copy this. Let's paste it inside, and let's change the animation to 30 seconds. And here, let's not forget to change the path. So this is planet 2. The path should be planet orbit 2. Save the file, go to image preview, and voila, the other planet is now following the path. Let's do the same thing for the other ones. I'll do this quickly and I'll come back. Okay, I am done. The first planet will do the full rotation in 60 seconds, the second one in 30, the third one in 15 seconds, and the final one will rotate in 5 seconds. And as you can see, this is what is happening. But there is a problem. I mean, it is not a problem, but when we specify a path, all the planets start from the same direction. Let me show you. So if I do this quickly, you can see that they all start from here. But what if we want to randomize the starting position for each planet? Is there a solution? Yes, there is. And let me show you how we do that. There is an argument or a property that we can add here. We can add this begin attribute. And here we can specify the seconds. It's like we are going to change the starting of the animation. We know that at 0 seconds, we are going to start from, let's say, let's save this. We are going to start from here. And after 60 seconds, we are going to come back. Now, we can, for example, change this starting point with that begin attribute. We can say that I want to begin at 30 seconds. So 30 seconds should be half the way. So the planet will start here. Let's verify if this is going to happen. So for the first planet, I am going to specify 30 seconds. Let's look at the image preview. So that didn't work. The planet is here. Maybe we need to specify a negative value. Let's try that. Yes, so we need to specify a negative value. And as you can see, so the starting point was here, but by adding minus 30 seconds, we moved the animation back in time by 30 seconds. So now we can do the same thing for the other planets so that we get different starting points. And that's it. This is how we use the animate motion tag, and it is very easy. You can see that we had to go inside the SVG file, but the hard work is done thanks to this animate motion tag. Great. So now I can safely delete this one because I am not using it in the app. And now let me show you the source code that I have inside the app. Okay, so everything is inside this file. And here I am using Vue.js, but feel free to adapt this to any other framework, or even you can use plain JavaScript, because here I'm not doing a lot of things. So let's start. You can see that here in the template, we have an image and a button. The button is anchored to the bottom left corner, and we are doing this thanks to position absolute. The illustration or the image has a width set to 60% of the page, and the container is, we have display flex, justify content center, align item center. This will take the section, which is this one. It will take everything inside it and it will center it in the page. Awesome. So, and here for the body, we remove any margin or padding. And here I am using Inter as the font. Now I can close the style block because that's all we have. And now here I am importing those SVG files. So I have one for the static solar system and the other one for the animated solar system. And here in Vue.js, we have something called computed properties. Basically, computed properties allow us to get a value. It allows us to make a computation. So here we have this variable, show animation SVG. By default, it is set to false. So here we do the calculation. So which illustration should we show? Should we show the static one or the animated one? And this depends on the show animated SVG variable. When we open the app, it is set to false. So we are going to show the static image. But if we toggle this, if we change it, we are going to show the animated image. The same thing for the button. The button that we have here, by default, it says start animation. But when we click on it, that will change to stop animation. So the computed properties are very handy in Vue.js. And inside data, we have the animated solar system SVG and the static image, as well as the show animated SVG. And by putting things in the data field, we can use them in our template. So here, for instance, in template, we use that computed property, which is called illustration source, and we use the button text. Finally, when we click on the button, we call toggle animation. And this is a simple method that will switch this boolean. If it is set to false, it will change to true. If it was true, it will change to false. So it will keep cycling. So that's it. This is the template. This is what we have. And as I said, you can use plain JavaScript if you want. Here I focused mainly on opening the SVG file, working with the XML and how to add that animate motion tag. In order to run the application, you use npm run serve. After that, open this link and you should get something like this. And as you can see, because that variable is set to false, the animation is not playing. We are showing the static image, but I can click on the button and here you go. The animation started. And because I have played with that begin attribute, the planets started from different positions. So let's see that again. So this one started here, the other one started there, etc. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I know that this method that I showed you in this video should be used with simple animations. As you saw, we did not do a lot of work. We just connected the planet with its orbit, and the animate motion tag did the hard work. Imagine having a very big SVG file with hundreds of with hundreds of objects. If you want to make complex animations, doing this manually like this is going to take a lot of time and effort, and it won't be an easy task. Luckily, there are libraries in JavaScript that help you make the animations just by writing code instead of going inside the SVG file. And this is something that I might explore in one of the upcoming videos. So I could start with this one and show you how to do the same thing with one of the libraries. And after that, we can make other complex animations. But this is a good starting point. For instance, this animation that you see here, I'll be using this on my personal websites, and it served a purpose, and it is really awesome. With just one tag, we can get something like this. I'm really happy with it. I hope that you learned something from this video. See you in the next one.